Hey, how are you? It's a classic guitar rock daily update. I'm Jeremy, and we got a number of things in the news today. One really cool thing: Vernon Reed from Living Color. Remember Living Color? Look in my eyes, what do you see? The cult of personality. Remember that great tune? I actually saw Living Color open for the Stones. When was that? 89. It was a Steel Wheels tour. They were awesome. Anyways, I digress. Vernon Reed, the guitarist from Living Color, has started what can we call it? Is it a campaign? A campaign to draw some attention to great guitar players on X, formerly Twitter, that don't have enough followers. And I'm completely on board. In fact, I reposted on my X feed Vernon Reed's post. So it's great because these guitars completely need the support. And the idea is he calls it his 10K guitar campaign. He's just drawing attention to some great guitar players. The first two he started with were Robin Trower and Robert Cray. Fascinating. I've seen Vernon Reed live. I've seen Robin Trower live. I've seen Robert Cray live. They're all awesome. They all need the attention. Those are the two guitarists he started with. And now he's expanded that out to Elliot Easton, Mike Stern, great jazz guitarist. Who else? Ernie Isley. So a number of phenomenal guitar players that just they need more followers. They need more support. And more importantly, they need more people to listen to their music because they're awesome. So if you're within the sound of my voice, and it's not just these guitars, but let's start with these guys. Go out, if you aren't already, if you're a classic rock fan, if you aren't already, go out and follow Robin Trower, Robert Cray, Mike Stern, Elliot Easton, Ernie Isley. There are more, but start with those folks and show them some love. And more importantly, go listen to their music. This is a great little campaign that Vernon's doing. So thank you very much, Vernon Reed, for doing that. By the way, one of our podcast episodes is about Robin Trower. So go back and check out that episode. And then we did a classic album review of the Cars debut album where we talk about Elliot Easton, obviously. So check out those episodes and you'll hear more about the great work of these guitarists. On this date, way back in 1974, this was our music history of the day on X. The debut Bad Company album hit number one. And of course, Paul Rodgers, the lead singer of Bad Company, a great album, great band. And coincidentally, Paul Rodgers also in the news for another reason, not a good reason, but he's revealed that he has suffered 13 strokes in the past 7 years. Wow. 13 strokes. Most of them minor. This hits close to home because my dad has been through the same thing. He has, the fascinating thing is with my dad, he at one point has had a serious stroke, but he doesn't remember it. He doesn't know when it was, but they can tell by looking at the brain scan and all that scientific stuff they do that he has had at least one major stroke and he's not aware of when it happened. So interesting. Stroke is a serious thing, by the way. If you ever are experiencing any of those symptoms of stroke, don't think, oh, it'll just go away. You know, if you hear any of those symptoms you hear about, get it taken care of. Again, I digress. But Paul Rodgers has experienced several strokes, and the last one was very serious. And it left him, this was in 2019, left him severely debilitated. Quote, I couldn't do anything, to be honest. I couldn't speak. That was the very strange thing. You know, I'd prepare something in my mind and say it, but that isn't what came out. And I'd go, what the heck did I just say? Very common thing for people that have had strokes. They performed what's called an endarterectomy, different than a lopedotomy or an addictomy, by the way. But they performed this procedure where it involves going into the arteries and cleaning out arteries. He says, quote, they cut the neck, and the doctor said that he was very careful because he knew I was a singer and that when you cut the neck, it's very close to the vocal cords. He says, they told me, and they were very clear, you may not come out of this alive. Wow. So the good news is he's doing better now. He can talk, he can sing, but just a scary thing. Don't mess around with stroke, by the way. If you or someone you know, you think they're having a stroke, call the ambulance, call 911. Okay. Kiss Into the Road tour. It's been going on a few years now. During a new appearance on Australia's The Project. The show's called The Project. Kiss frontman Paul Stanley discussed the band's End of the Road farewell tour, which is scheduled to conclude in early December in New York City. He says, well, it's interesting because we can see the end now. When we started to plan this, it was probably about 5 years ago, and the pandemic came into play, and we lost a few years. We've done 250 shows on this End of the Road tour because it's a long road, and they keep paving more road. But this is it for us. And intellectually, yeah, we can't continue doing this. We're in our 70s, hard to believe. But for us, it's just reached a point where we realize we can't do this indefinitely. We're really at the top of our game still. And now's the time to do a victory lap and go out there with our heads held high and say thank you to everybody and do a show that really encapsulates and really pays tribute, not only to us, but to the fans. Into the Road tour, man. They're selling lots of tickets. Lots of people who've seen it say it's great. Kiss, like them or not, they were a hugely important band, influenced a lot of bands, and they're a great band. Okay. I've talked about my love-hate relationship with Kiss, but bottom line is they're one of the great rock and roll bands. That's all I'm going to say about that. All right. Thank you so much. Again, I feel like the Jerry Lewis telethon when I say this, but your support's very important. We thank you so much for watching, for following. If you are able to subscribe on X for just $1 a month, that means so much and it helps us so much. You can absolutely do that. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow for a Friday